Is humanity ascending?
Ascension doesn't go this way, ascension goes this way. There are stages of how deep you go with your surrender. You're not your body, you're not your intellect, you're not your personality, you're not your beliefs. You're the awareness that can change everything.
What's the one most important thing we need to know right now?
We are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience. You find your power and your source by something so big that everything about that thing becomes your way of life. Answers are all inside of you.
What does your channeled guide Redigo have to say about this?
To be free from fear, you have to change your core beliefs, because you became nearer and surrender to life itself. A fearless life is possible. What will you do then?
Are you ready to shine? Shine bright. Woohoo! Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation. If you've ever wanted hope for our evolution and that humanity may just make it, then do we have the Riz the Wiz Circle of Light show for you. Today, I'll be speaking with Riz Mirza, psychic channel and the creator of the Circle of Light. And that's just what I want to talk with Riz about whether humanity is truly ascending, why we're here today, and sacred messages for us all from beyond. So welcome to the show, Riz. Are you ready to shine?
I am ready to shine. I am ready to rumble. I'm ready to rock.
Is humanity ascending?
The human ascension. What a word, the ascension process.
Yes.
What are we ascending to? This other side. What is the other side? This idea of, are we living in a simulation? What does the word simulation even mean? Well, according to the dictionary, a simulation means that you are copying or simulating something else. And then therefore that implies that what you are doing is not the real thing. It's not the original thing. It's just a copy of something else in order to do something else. Perhaps simulation simply means it's a copy, simulated. It's just not really real. Now, one could say that even religions over time have said this isn't real. Even the so-called monotheistic religions have said, this isn't real. It's a temporary place. There's some little middle ground there, maybe even between the so-called New Age and the so-called old original age. I think we have it backwards, because before there were institutionalized religions, we spoke about spirit guides, messages, connection to nature, earth, the ether, the sun, the moon, the stars. We spoke about dimensions. We spoke about our ancestors. We spoke about the interconnectedness of the force or the source between all things. So what is the actual New Age and the Old Age? In my opinion, the religions of today are the New Age. They are the New Age. They're just here recently. Even if you just got here 10,000 years ago, it's still the New Age. What we're talking about and what shows like this dive into is actually the Old Age, how we intrinsically feel. Because I believe, Michael, that human beings are religious by nature. What does that mean? Well, religious simply means you find your power and your source by something so big that everything about that thing becomes your way of life.
Yes.
But all human beings are that way. It's just that some people find religion to satisfy their religious nature, and some people find hip hop and rock and roll and gaming to be their religion because they live through it. They find all their answers in it. And through this understanding of what we are and how we seek to ascend, we're ascending to what? See, in my experience as a shaman and a channeler and medium, human being, husband, stepfather, son, friend, whatever, ascension doesn't go this way. Ascension goes this way. When it comes to spiritual matters, we're dropping in. We're dropping in. We're surrendering to So while many people have said over the years that, hey, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, I beg to differ very powerfully. I say, in fact, we are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience. Don't downplay where all the focus is right now, that just because you're going somewhere else. So the entire time that you're in fourth grade or fifth grade, you're only thinking about sixth grade. And only time you're in sixth grade and seventh grade, you're just thinking about eighth grade the entire time. What's next? This is just a simulation, apparently, of when I get to be an adult and be out there in the world.
What is the one most important thing we learn right now?
That's a good question. Is it that we all start thinking alike? We all start liking the same things. We all start voting for the same person. We just agree. There's these agreements that go on.
Mm-hmm.
Time itself is an agreement, the concept of time. When we say it's a new year, we're basing that on that the planet moved around the sun one time in an elliptical pattern. Even the word one time. We could have said that when the planet goes around the sun 3 times, that's a year. We could have said that. 1 dozen is 12 eggs, correct?
In this paradigm, yes.
In this paradigm, in this focus, we are saying what is a number. Now, some people say, well, mathematics, those physics are the language of the universe. I don't know. Have you been to every place in the universe? How do you know? We're discovering, especially through what's being revealed through the disclosure about extraterrestrial life over the years and all the whistleblowers and the scientists and the former NASA people, former scientists who've been working with all of these secret programs have been saying, actually, we have UFO craft. They have been defying the laws of physics as we know it.
Yes.
So, and you're going to see this in the next several years. I've been saying this for 20 years. But now, because the New York Times had an article in 2017 and the Senate hearings are happening on UFO, and David Grush, if you're not familiar with him, has sat in front of the Senate in the hearings. Check it out on YouTube, guys. And the senator asked him, the congressperson asked him, when these craft were recovered, were there pilots? And he said, yes. He leaned over, he goes, yes. And then she goes, were they human or non-human? In front of the world, in the American government. And David Grush leans over and he goes, non-human. Now, the fact that this isn't the headline, and you know what the headlines are.
Yeah.
It's either who's a political candidate, which is all just a mirage anyway. Doesn't have any power. He's a figurehead. If you've done any deep diving into how things work, there's always more and more layers of everything. So what we're realizing is with all this information, are there aliens? Are there extraterrestrial life? Some people are saying, well, those planets are light years away. How can we get there? Well, because these ships travel faster than the speed of light. Let's bring it down to a personal level. How did you break through all that trauma, all that terrible stuff that happened to you? So many people died. You had physical violence, so any kind of violence happening to you in your life. How did you break free and become this peaceful person? Well, because my inner technology has advanced, and that's what I teach. So the people that work with me, I'm interested in advancing their inner technology. There are other teachers out there, and I'm so excited to see that there are so many teachers now coming into this field of metaphysical or transformational, or where all these lines are blending or blurring, that you go from yoga teaching and meditation to talking about chakras, then going in deeper and then getting into personal transformation, evolution. So it's very enlightening and heartening for me to see Gen Z is doing it. You go on TikTok and you'll see 14-year-olds talking about auras. Then you'll see teachers who just got on it, who are just, they promote themselves as energy healers, and good. More people to the party and to the discussion. But there are stages of how deep you go with your surrender. That's the word I like to use more than the word evolution. Because as you surrender to what is, in my opinion, it is this eternal, ever-evolving, powerful, infinite consciousness and awareness that you are. You're not your body. You're not your intellect. You're not your personality. You're not your beliefs. You're the awareness that can change everything for you. That's what you are. So as a teacher, I remind people that everything we've ever or that we know how to do, someone taught us. So when you say the answers are all inside of you, what does that mean? You didn't know how to turn on this device until someone taught you. You didn't know how to wash your hair, wash your body, brush your teeth, put a spoon to your mouth. Everything you know how to do, someone taught you. And even the ideas that came to your head were transported from a source. So it is an interactive, interdependent reality. There's no such thing as an independent anything, not even the tree. So we are in an interdependent reality. When we celebrate Interdependence Day, that's going to be an amazing day. Not Independence Day.
In our interdependence, where I see us as projectors and I see us going on this beautiful wild ride that we can call the human experience right now. Are you feeling, because this is a real concern that my students have, our audience has, is humanity going off the cliff as it appears? I'm going to put that in quotes, as it appears right now, or are we being reborn?
Of course it's not going off the cliff, because you have to start from a foundational understanding of reality. And that foundational understanding of reality, of course, one may say is a belief.
Yes.
But what I teach is pick beliefs that work for you.
Thank you.
Okay, so then you have the only questions you have to ask there are, what is the criterion for working for you? Everything is a belief. Everything that's said in my life, that's said in your life and anywhere else, you can know that it is a belief, because there will always be people who say, well, I don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
You channel spirit guides? I don't believe in spirit guides. Come on. That all these channelers are acting. That's a belief they have.
Yeah.
Or a disbelief. And then they believe in something else. Then you have people who kind of believe this or kind of believe that. They need to be convinced. Some people cannot be unconvinced. So when we are having these discussions, let's start off on the foundational understanding that we are here through whatever methods, modalities, healing perspectives, evolutionary perspectives that we have, that we've downloaded or we've learned from somewhere else. They are about a belief that we have. So who knows for sure? Okay, so we get to the other side. We believe this is a simulation. You die, you ascend, you go to some other dimension, and now you're with spirit guides, ancestors, teachers, and they sit down with you and they go, there's more. And you go, well, then what's this? Oh, right, that was a human experience. Wait, are you downplaying that again? Why do you think that you are not in the right place at the right time?
Well, that's the trap with the word simulation. That's the trap.
That's the trap. And here's the thing. The moment that you disassociate or that you downplay this focus, you are not tapping into the resources that you have. Pick up your cell phone. Your cell phone is made of plants and rocks.
Yes.
The plastic is also made of plants and rocks, because plastic is made from petroleum, which is made from oil, which is made from dead plants. So your entire phone and your laptop, everything that you are watching this podcast on right now, everyone, is made from rocks and plants. And these rocks and plants, our natural resources, are under your feet right now. In fact, if you took this laptop or this cell phone and traveled back in time to President Lincoln's time, which wasn't that long ago, we have photos of him, and try to explain to him about what this iPhone can do, and showed it to him. And this is an intelligent man, one of the most intelligent men on the planet at the time. Imagine what kind of leap would he have to take to understand this technology that's only a few hundred years away? He could never understand it. First, you'd have to explain to him, we learned how to make sound silent and put it inside a material object upon which we can extract it at any time. We also figured out how to send silent sound. First, make it silent. Now throw it through the air and have somebody 3,000 miles away catch it, or 20,000 miles away. How would he wrap his mind around that? So this technology that is made from plants and rocks, he might say, well, I understand you guys are from the future. You visited me here in this time in Gettysburg. Are you from 10,000 years into the future? And what planet are you from? And we'd say, Mr. President, we're only like 200 years in the future. Forgive me if I'm doing the math wrong. And we're like from down the street. The materials for this phone you have right now, they're under your feet, Mr. Lincoln. So your inner technology is, how are you extracting those resources that are with you right now in this focused reality, rather than you're constantly drawing from where we're supposed to be or where we're supposed to go? Is humanity going to be saved? We are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience. Do you see your death as wrong? I don't. Wrong. I didn't say unpleasant, bad, depressing. I just meant wrong. I don't see it wrong. Even if something was to take my life, if a meteor were to hit or something else were to happen, I've already told people who are close to me, understand that earthly Riz, there's two Rizes and there's two everybody's. There's your earthly version and then there's your higher self.
Yeah.
Earthly Riz certainly wants to stick around for the party as long as I can and enjoy it and be healthy and loving and giving and all those great things. But if I were to leave during this podcast, everyone in my life knows that I've already told them that my higher self chose to do it. I made that decision on a higher level, and I want everybody to know that if that ever happens. Doesn't matter how it happened. I agreed to it. Now, that is my foundational belief. I do not believe that we are thrust here. I believe we chose to be here. I believe we have a higher knowledge, knowing that our evolution is going to happen in this way. There are people freaking out if Trump is going to be president, and there are people freaking out if Biden is going to be president. I'm not freaking out either way. Why should I? My happiness, my peace, through all the hell that I've been through and you've been through, my process and my processing has led me to a state of being that I know that peace is my choice. If there's anything that is enlightenment, I would define it as that I know that peace is my choice. And I know that everything that happens, I can create from that. So if he's president or she's president, or we get 16 people to be president at the same time, or no president at all, I will know, because of my foundational belief, that everything I need is in that moment, resources, and I can be resourceful to use this magic. It's a magic. So your birth and your death, as a medium, I will tell you, birth and death are the same doorway.
Yeah.
Not separate doorways. Your death is, if there even is a death, it's about a millisecond long. Because then your awareness, you're the pure awareness. Remember I said you're not your body, your intellect, your personality. You're the awareness that can change all things for yourself. So what is this journey? There's too much finality, brother, to are we going to get there? So what is this? What is oneness? That we all do that? Maybe the oneness is surrendering to, wow, whoa, this is all affecting me, and we're all one? That's more mind-blowing. I prefer to have my mind blown. Because for me, the highest vibration on earth is actually not 7 billion people meditating together. That might be a lovely moment. But 7 billion people on earth celebrating together is much more exciting and appealing to me.
So I want to go back in time, and I want to get to how you got to where you're at and your understandings today. And then I want to hear from Red Eagle if we can. But if we talk about having your mind blown, I'm going back to you at 7 years of age and looking on a couch.
And I saw, and I felt that someone died on that couch. I was 7 years old. Yeah. My mom was sitting in the kitchen with her girlfriend at the time in New York City, where I was born and raised. I was born in Harlem, raised in the Bronx, New York. And my parents came from India, and she was just having an afternoon with her girlfriend. I'm sitting there, a bored 7-year-old, no kids to play with, no toys in that house, super bored, looked at a couch, and I just blurted out, an old man died on that couch. He was drinking tea. And it turned out to be true that that woman's dad did die on that couch while he was drinking tea. I didn't know what was going on. I never planned to be a medium. I was a kid from the Bronx singing in rock bands and trying to stay out of trouble. And this took over my life. Something interfered. My path was like a lot of people's paths, soaked in powerful experiences, both happy and both terribly, terribly sad and tragic from people dying. Four of the closest people to me died. And I had to suffer through that. And that's a medium, a person who's that gift or that connection, right, was awakened by that pain. And so I always teach people that your trauma can be your training if you know how to use it. When
I
we go to
love
the
it.
gym, guys,
Yeah.
you're traumatizing your body. Get it straight. That's how it grows. You lift those weights, you're ripping the fibers of the muscles in the body. You're ripping them. You're tearing them down. And your natural functioning without you even trying, once you leave the gym, is where you grow. When you rest, you grow. When you're still, you grow. When you feed yourself, you grow. But the stimulation at the gym, by the way, you don't need to work out for, that's another philosophy. We're discovering you need to work out for less time now. The purpose of working out is to stimulate the muscles just enough to grow, to activate them. Don't beat the hell out of them, because down the line, you're not going to want to go to the gym. You're going to have all sorts of injuries. So I began to channel. I ended up at 27 years old. Astrology buffs out there, that's when your Saturn return happens.
Yeah.
You also have the 27 Club, where a lot of famous people have died at 27, 28. Numerologically, that's the number 9. 27, 2 plus 7 equals 9. End of a cycle, 360 degrees. You're coming full circle. 360 equals 9.
At that return, how did you crack? What caused you to crack and why?
I had already been trying to deal with the death of my mom and the suicide of one of my best friends.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. I ended up, like a lot of people, on the verge of losing things and feeling what I need some hope or something. And someone, of course, someone entered into my circle and said, "Hey, I want to take you to this guy named Alex Murray." Alex Murray is this channeler in New York City. He's an older gentleman, and he has this, circle. I went. They said, you pay her whatever, $30, and you'll get a message from the spirit guides. He leaves his body. Now, mind you, I had already been a meditator and could feel my connection, though I was not pursuing what I'm doing. I was not pursuing psychic work. I was a musician. I go to the circle, spirit guides come into his body, take over his body. I'm looking at him this close, man. I'm going, if this guy is acting, I'll know. Now, when it was happening, and his voice changed and his mannerisms changed, I said to myself, well, either this guy is the best actor I have ever seen, better than Daniel Day-Lewis, man, Pacino, better than all of them, or this is real, because what he's saying is so eloquent and the messages for each person were personal. I was just blown away. And then he said to me, the spirit guide came to me and told me I would be doing this work. This is the last thing I wanted to hear, guys. I did not want to hear I would become a channeler. I just wanted to hear your band is going to get a record deal and you're going to be rocking and rolling on stage. Which, who wouldn't want to be?
Yeah.
And I was like, first of all, that's not true, because I have no idea how to do this. And it's not even what I want to do. So for 9 years, yes, 9 years, maybe a couple of times a year, I would go back to that channeling circle, begrudgingly, but excited and intrigued, because every time I went and got a message from the spirit guides, it was never anything that I would consider like positive or patting me on the back. I wanted to be patted on the back and told it was going to all be okay. Instead, they would lean into me. They would tell me all the things I was doing wrong, all the misconceptions that I had.
So why'd you go back?
Exactly.
What was pulling you? Is this the higher self that's dragging you there? And
I didn't have anyone, at that point, more people died. My brother died,
oh, God.
dad. And it was like, there's a strong voice I can't deny the eloquence. I can't deny that there's something about this affecting me. And I keep going back. Maybe it is like working out. You keep going back because even though you're so sore after, you're like, this is good for me. And then 9 years later, it was like I just hit rock bottom and went into a deep depression. And when you can't go any lower, the only place you can look is up. And you might say that that was the epiphany moment where my heart broke open and I found myself feeling this incredible presence. I felt like I was no longer in my body, but at the same time, I felt like was finally in my body. I wasn't in my head anymore. It was,
Yeah.
how do you describe it? It's almost like when you describe being in love. I was totally alive, but I felt totally like I got slayed. So that's what it was. And that's where Red Eagle began his transmissions.
I've had 2 near-death experiences. After the first one, I'm laying on the ground. I'm shattered. I managed to figure out to flip one leg over the other because there was pieces of the bone sticking into the femoral artery. And had I not, I would have bled to death. And when the emergency
Wait,
crews
pieces of
finally,
the what were sticking into your femoral artery?
of my femur. And it is a miracle that they didn't slice all the way through. Twice this has happened. Once on one leg and identically on the other. I have twin titanium femurs, titanium hips. I'm also on Team USA for triathlons. The body is amazing. What a vehicle. We can play with this thing. My arms are so tired. I asked you about lifting beforehand because I just finished an ocean swim and my arms don't want to lift right now to even hold the microphone. But I was laying there. I'm laying there on the ground.
Mm.
And I'm bleeding out internally. And I had this beaming ear to ear grin. That's it. That's what you're talking about.
Well, you have that smile that lights up the room, man. Maybe that's what birthed it.
Woohoo! Well, April 2nd, 2006 was my new birthday. And before that, I never said woohoo. And after that, this just came out of the ethos. It came, like you're saying, it was as if for yourself as well, there was either a cloak or a like an old school projector image that was on top of the projector that's dirty and smudged and the light's not getting through it clearly. And somebody ripped that off on you. And all of a sudden we can see Riz's light.
Yeah. And more importantly, you feel better.
Yeah.
I say that to people all the time. They want people to see my light. I said, I just rather you feel better. If they see your light or they don't see your light. There's been many great people who probably have lived on the planet where maybe only 4 people saw their light. Doesn't mean that their life was meaningless. It might have been the most powerful lifetime they ever had if only one person saw them. You know, I believe I get a lot of people who've come to me where their loved one committed suicide. Mm-hmm. And I had a very close person to me do the same thing. And I've come to understand that it's usually commit suicide because there's some things that you are believing that aren't true.
Yeah.
And here's some of them. Number 1, that you're alone.
Thank you.
Number 2, that nobody loves you and no one ever has. Number 3, that it was meaningless and you didn't have any impact. There's more, but all of those 3 things are all things that are not true. But when you believe them long enough, you take yourself out. And there's, interestingly enough, if you think about it, this is a weird thing to think about, but think about it. That's their last ditch effort to feel better. That little spark that can never be extinguished, which is survival, and I want to take care of myself, put food in my mouth, that instinct and urge, it just leads them to make a choice that anything is better than this. So I have to take myself out, commit suicide, and I'm going to go to the other side, or I'm going to go to blackness and nothing. Fine. If you believe you go to the other side, that's because you believe that that would be better, which means you want something better and that you're willing to do something to feel better, which means you do care about yourself to some degree. And even if you believe that it's just pitch blackness when you die, that's better too. See, you can never extinguish the part of yourself that wants it to be better, even if it is at harm to yourself. So that's why I go right back to, then what is this essence of what you are? It's an awareness that can change anything at any time for you. So when Red Eagle, whose guides is one of the spirit guides that I channel many, many guides. That's just my revolving door. I've channeled close to 100 different guides over my career as a trance channel. And then there are some regulars that come through. There's some famous names that come through. I've channeled some pretty famous names and personalities over the years who decided they weren't done with their messages and came through. And then there's some that no one's ever heard of, like perhaps Phineas or Red Eagle. Only a few people have heard of him. Now, mind you guys, when spirit guides come through, you've heard channelers where they have different accents or they have different manners of being. It is not that when you channel Confucius and he's Chinese and he has a Chinese accent or doesn't have a Chinese accent, we are not of any ethnic background as the energy and intellect that we are. Our soul has no ethnicity, has no religion, and really has no gender. We are the perfect blend of yin and yang in the soul outside of the physical body. We then express ourselves through the physical body. But Red Eagle, who many people feel is a Native American guide, you get 2 Indians for the price of 1. I'm a dot, not feather. And he also has lived many different ethnicities. So he's shown me where he was another ethnicity and another gender. But Red Eagle is the version of him, his expression that he enjoys, that he knows connects to us. So when he comes through, it's almost, for me, it's like he's this 10,000-year-old oak tree talking to us. And so I use his teachings in my one-on-one work with shamanic work with people. Red Eagle has really been my greatest teacher. And I bring through that when I work on healing trauma and I work on creative expansion of the soul and evolution and really just breaking free. So I feel that Red Eagle, when he comes through, and you guys are going to meet him in just a little bit, is about really how to have more keys to freedom.
When you channel, and now you are a trance medium, which means you, as far as I understand, you step aside, you go take a nap. I'll put that in quotes, so to speak.
Yeah.
Is it listening to a recording afterwards that you learn from, or is it, and my guess is there's some of both, but because I channel, but I am not a trance medium. It's in me. I have resisted so far. Is it being awash in that energy that has been the biggest shift for you? Because what I like to say is language is not my first language.
Nice. I get it.
You get it.
Yeah. Here's how it is for me. I want to talk about just 2 or 3 quick points. One is when Red Eagle or any spirit guide comes into the body, they are taking over 95% of you. There's a 5% part of you that's, I like to say, in the back seat with headphones on, like, you know, our kids when they're going on a trip. So Red Eagle places me in the back seat of his car, puts headphones on me and goes, look at the pretty pictures out the window while I drive. I go, thank you. Okay.
You wave to everybody going by.
Exactly. That's the deep trance state.
Yeah.
And in that time, through a sacred agreement of souls, maybe from many, many past lifetimes, I've agreed to that, for that to happen. And this is a great surrender to have that happen. And Red Eagle's energy, when you guys will feel it, it's very powerful. But when he comes into my body, it's very subtle. It's almost as if, okay, watch how I touch this microphone. You're not even going to hear anything. And this is a sensitive mic. I have to be that soft to feel that little touch. He wants me to be in that state of surrender so that I can fully give myself to the transmission. And then he uses the vocal cords that I have and the physicality that I have, just like you would step into a car and drive a Ferrari like a Ferrari and drive a Toyota like a Toyota. They're 2 different makes and models and capacities. So it's a direct download. I rarely listen to the recordings. It's been 17 years. There's thousands and thousands of hours of this.
I get it.
I rarely listen to them. In fact, I couldn't listen to them for the first 5 years because would freak me out. Like, and I definitely couldn't watch a video. I'm like, oh my God, why is he moving my face like that? You know, your ego gets in the way. Like, oh, he's making my face look all weird. So this is it's a great experience channeling to completely have some freedom from your identity ego and allow it to come through, especially when there's feminine energies. I've channeled many feminine energies, so the voice does get higher, and that changes. I love when the voice changes on a channeler, though. It's very engaging, kind of entertaining. You let yourself go there, and you can really have an experience. So it is more of a download where I get the information, and there are many times, even like right now, I can already feel Red Eagle with us. I've my spiritual practices as a shaman and as a meditation teacher have been to help people how to be more surrendered and quiet so that they can feel that. Now, remember something, guys. You are all channel something. Channeling is the same word as the word canal. Canal and channel. What is a canal? It is an opening through which water flows. English Channel, Suez Canal, and that water flows through. So when it's a person, it's information or energy flowing through you without too much control, more about surrender and allowing that to land where it's supposed to land. So you could be a channeler of baking. You can be a channeler of baseball. You can be a channeler of being an accountant. In fact, I think we need more accountants who channel the numbers. And you're a channel, Michael, and you're channeling in the way you channel. I just happen to be a trance channel because I want to. I really like it. I want to because I learned what it does for people. In the beginning, I had just surrendered and I had already been through so much pain. It was like, I guess I'll just do this. I have no choice. Nothing else was working. I don't recommend that as a way to do things. I try to teach people that don't wait till you hit rock bottom for stuff, though sometimes if you are a very strong-willed person, you do have to hit that rock bottom. So I teach people to be softer so that they can learn from joy rather than through pain.
I have an expression after that NDE: kind, gentle, easy, good. May I have all of my lessons, kind, gentle, easy, good. I am listening.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Now it's like a near life experience.
What does your channel guide, Red Eagle, say about this?
Hey, everyone, join me for this experience wherever it is that you are. I just ask that you just take a moment to connect energies. It doesn't matter when you're watching this, if it's close to when we made the show or 10 years from then. The moment is always now because you are exactly where you're supposed to be. And this frequency is available for you to drop into. So thank you. Let's begin by dropping our shoulders, taking our palms facing upwards. If you want to join me, great. And close your eyes. As you close your eyes, dropping your shoulders, we're going to relax our face, relax the forehead, the cheekbones, the lips, the mouth, the teeth, the tongue, the throat, the ears, the jaw, the eyebrows, the eyelashes, the temples. Relax your scalp, relax your hair, relax everything about you. We're going to take a deep breath in at the count of 3, holding the breath in our heart as a ball of light. Then we're going to blow the air out through our mouth when I say exhale. 1, 2, breathe in. Holding the air now around your heart chakra in a beautiful glowing light as it sends embers and sparkles of energy everywhere. Blow it out. Great. Surround yourself with light and see it getting bigger and bigger and brighter till it surrounds the whole planet. Join me in spirit. Great spirit of love, thank you for uniting us at this intersection of all points of time and space. As we surrender to the gratitude, to the blessings of our life, past, present, and future, help us to have the wisdom to be grateful for the blessings in disguise of the past, present, and future. As we send love to our ancestors from this lifetime and every lifetime, and to all beings everywhere in every dimension, every timeline, we wish peace because peace is what we believe in. Beautiful. All right, open your eyes, guys, and I'll say goodbye. And he will say hello.
Oh, Red Eagle. Many of you, you sit around a candle and you meditate. You sit in groups of people. You can sit around the light and focus on the light, go into a higher state, a deeper state of awareness. And you have been doing this for many, many, many thousands of years. Your ancestors used to do this, and now you still do it. You do it in the yoga centers, meditation centers, ashrams, in your living rooms, everywhere, maybe in the forest too. But you see, when you sit in nature, it is a reflection of yourself. You are nature. The nature of reality is that there is no beginning and no end. It is a little bit easy to see there is no end, but it is harder to imagine that there is no beginning. Because you can say, all right, I regenerate, I die, I come back as different people, and it goes on and on and on. But to think of where is the beginning, where is the source, this is the contention amongst humanity, the conundrum. What is the answer? It is the Big Bang, it is the religions, it is God's spoke the word, and so it was. Apparently, God had to speak it into being too, and you have to speak it into being. Though you say that you never had a language, Michael, you always had a language because everything is frequency communicating. It was not simply just a language of words, but a frequency. And frequency is the language that penetrates, because many people can say words, but the frequency does not land because it is not of any kind of powerful intention. And the frequency can be different than the words that you speak. If a friend is having a jovial moment with you, and you say something to the friend that is very clever, poking a little fun at them with a little bit of truth, the friend will laugh and say, boy, I hate you. The words I hate you are considered to be very negative. And yet in that context, the I hate you actually means you know me and I love you for that and we are close. Do you understand, Michael?
Please tell me more.
You have to understand the first part first.
I'm saying, please explain that more.
If a friend jokes with you and says, boy, I hate you,
Yeah.
does it mean that they hate you or does it mean
No.
that you got to them and they see the humor in it? Correct?
Yes, correct.
So it is a positive moment. And the hate is not received as hate. In fact, it is received as intimate and a closeness in a positive way. By the same token, others have said, I love you, and yet the frequency was not true underneath. In fact, it felt to be not received by you at all, because many times people have fallen in love with people and the other person does not feel it.
Mhm.
They only technically know it. That person is in love with me, but I feel nothing. In fact, I feel repulsed by them. So when they hear I love you, it is a turn off to them because they do not love the person back. They do not want to have a relationship with them. They want to get away. So the words are not even the thing. The frequency intention is one. Now, what you call inanimate objects, it means they don't have an emotional intention. It means that they are neutral. You can program them. The cells of your body are a vital life force that are more positive, but tend to be also neutral. For example, if you are talking to your body, you have an internal dialogue that you are worried and upset and all of that. Be thankful that your body also has a wisdom not to listen to every single negative thought that comes to your mind, because if that was the truth, that the cells constantly listen to negative thought, you might have been dead when you were 12 or 13 already. So the body is wise and powerful and flexible and forgiving enough to know that your emotional reactions are not the end-all be-all every single time. The body responds to the frequency. There are people who have been filled with hate, who have lived very long, healthy lives. They are so angry that the anger is their fuel. They live to be 90, 100 years old. They don't have any diseases. Then there are people who are grateful, practicing everything, not so well. You are told that work hard, you will be rewarded. Do bad things and you will be punished. And yet you walk around in this world and you see many people doing bad things going unpunished. Many people doing things you don't like that they're getting rewarded. So you will go back and forth in this idea of right and wrong, good and bad, should be and should not be. Then you begin to call it the matrix. What would it take for you to find out there is no matrix? No, there is a matrix. That is because you have identified certain things that you have put together that you will call that, and that is fine, because if you can work with it, fine. Even if it is a matrix, you agreed to it. Either you have agreed to this reality as you are watching it unfold at the same time co-creating within it, or you did not agree to it. If you believe you did not agree to it, you are going to have a problem for a while. First, know that you are on the committee that voted yes to even have the possibility of the concept of a matrix in this time period and focus that you call your life. It's what you're calling your life. You have many lifetimes, but this is your life that you are focused on. In 12 hours from now, or whenever you go to sleep, your consciousness will focus on the dream world, and that will be as potent a reality as this is right now. You will not even know it is a dream, and you have done that before countless times, and you will do it again countless times, not knowing it is a dream. When you leave this body, this life will seem to be kind of a dream, a more impactful dream, and that brings you now back to the question of what is the real place. How many dimensions you want to go through? I want to go to the 12D. Maybe there's a 14D. Maybe there is a 2,335th dimension. How do you know there's not? Because some teacher has not told you yet. But if the right teacher that you believe in, you like their face or whatever, or enough people follow them on the social media, you'll start to believe them. And then you will say, all right, there are 3,000 dimensions. 12th dimension is not the highest. Of course that will be. Because it has already been. The teachers have shared this information with you. Will the knowledge stop there? How many notes do you have on the piano? Not many, not infinite, yet infinite sound can be created from those keys, those frequencies. In the time that this podcast started, how many songs do you think were written around the world? Using the same notes you have always been able to hear, because there are notes you cannot hear with your ears. So with the notes you are able to hear, you can make countless songs. With the words you already know, you're able to make countless stories. You have even designed artificial intelligence now to make stories. So let us say you read a very good book. You'll love it. Then you find out it is written by artificial intelligence. Are you going to love it less? Because you're very concerned with what is real. You go into relationships, you believe the other person loves you. Then they do something that is a betrayal or something that you say that is my deal breaker. And then you start to say it wasn't real. Why not? Because it turned out to be something feeling different than the way it started? What do you mean it is not real? Maybe that is part of it. Maybe that pain is part of the love, because you're here to experience love and where it goes in all of its facets. So if you read a book, you'll love it. What if it is a spiritual book? What will you do then? You found the best book ever. They put the face on it, put a name. You start to live by it. Then 5 years down the line, after you have become a practitioner and you have sold different versions of seminars and teachings based on this great guru whose book you read, then you find out it was AI who wrote the book, AI who generated the picture, wrote the title. Will you feel betrayed? You will be in a conundrum. You're not going to simply blow it off. You will have to have a few moments of sitting there with this knowledge. Because if you want to sit there and wonder what is real, is Red Eagle real? Is Michael real? Is anything real? Was love real? God real? Why do you know or need to know this thing called real? Are you not serving? Are you not giving? Are you not celebrating? What are you doing? What do you think this focused reality is? We don't say life. Because the moment we say, what do you think this life is, you have your preconceived notions already starting to, your templates start to activate about what you think life is supposed to be. That is why we use the words focused reality. You are focused in creating this reality. So what do you want to do with your healings? How long will you heal? Healing is a process. It is not constant. Healing is to describe a process that you are working on to address something. It is a sacred process. Digestion is a sacred process, but so is eating, so is vomiting, so is assimilating nutrients, and so is excreting nutrients that you don't need or have too much of. The body has a wisdom. Notice, we have not talked about your global warming. We have not talked about your political climate. We have not talked about your social movements. We have not talked about what is coming in the days ahead. So many things to look out for. The channelers come, look out for this year and that year. This is coming and that is coming. Why are you worried about what is coming? Why are you not looking at now and creating and emanating and surrendering? All you have is now. And now. And look again. Again it is now.
Yeah.
And look again it is now. Now we're still now.
Now.
This is a kind of sobriety. Spiritual sobriety. And once you are spiritually experiencing sobriety, it will become an intoxication, the likes of which you have never had the pleasure of experiencing. And that is what is happening. Because the intoxication that we playfully refer to, use this word, it is that you are flexible. It is that you do not have to make so many things wrong. Counting the things from morning to night that are wrong. Try to make a journal in your mind. Make a list. You like to journal, so many of you. Make a list from the morning to night, from the moment you come back into your body, because some people make things wrong before they open their eyes. They are laying in their bed, eyes closed, and don't like something already. They begin to dread something already. It is good what we say to you, a near-life experience. Why don't you call it that from now on? Because you became nearer and surrendered to life itself. So when you are making this list of how many things are wrong with you, with others, with the world, you will fill up a page. Why don't you do what is right? Why don't you make a list of things that you would like to tell people to make them feel better? So much of self-obsession, not a lot of self-awareness. And so, we say to you, you have never been in the wrong place at the wrong time. It has never happened and never will happen and is not happening even now. Yeah, even then. And even then, it was not wrong. It was unpleasant when you were there and that happened, but it was not wrong. Because your path is not wrong. Your existence is not wrong. It is all that is right in every way possible and imaginable and unimaginable. It is God. It is good. It is truth. And as you go on your infinite, eternal existence, you can never be extinguished. No matter how hard you try, there will always be the light that you are, beyond the body, beyond your opinions, beyond even lifetimes. This is where your sobriety exists. And if you spend your time waiting for the next teacher or channeler to tell you where the world is going, it is where it has always been going, for the freedom, the surrender, the self-evolution. Because if you believe that God is all things, then after you get out of punishment, because we say this and some people will say, yeah, I see God is all things because all of this is happening. The evil people are falling and these people are destroying themselves and the good will rise. That is just religious thinking again. The entire process is divine. But it is almost as if you cannot eradicate from the deep programming of people about good and evil. They see sunshine is good, nighttime is suspicious. In the West, they see rain as sad. In the East, it is most welcome. You have Western poets who write in English, the clouds were gathering. The sky darkened. Now you know it is going to be a sad poem. But you translate the poems of India and Africa, and they say that in their poems, it is the most beautiful day ahead because the rain is coming. It does not represent sadness. So you have the power at this very moment to begin to redefine what you call bad or wrong. And that way, if indeed your version of the end of times come, you do not seek to go run up to some mountaintop eating papaya to be safe. Instead, you will go into the heart of where people need you, into the center and the eye of the tornado where you could be of some use. A fearless life is possible. Who told you it was not?
What does that mean?
To be free from fear, it means that your idea of what is safety in life is not subject to your environmental experience on the so-called external. You understand truly oneness.
Mm-hmm.
How far do you want to go? There are souls on the other side who have been involved in violence and crime with each other, where there was a karmic contract for that to happen, where they say, hey, I know why you killed me. Remember 2 lifetimes ago? Hey, good for you. You got me back for that. Another time it is, my time was done there. I had to leave that way to leave a legacy and then to make a movement happen about certain things. Perhaps it was to have new policies set in place. And so certain souls offer themselves to be in very big, dramatic, life-changing, society-changing, society-activating experiences so that the mass consciousness of the people will start to expand and become more focused in the same direction of we don't need to harm each other. Look at the prisons. They are filled with abused children. Do you doubt it? Or do you think these babies were born evil? Something happened to them to make them do the crimes they did. Something must have attacked them physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, sexually, something for them to act out in the form of crimes. And so the prisons are filled with damaged people, hurt people, abused children. And the only solution that your society has come up with, let us put them in a big gray concrete building with inhumane food, inhumane treatment, inhumane conditions, and put them all together. Then, when you have punished them sufficiently, you will let them out and be part of society again. Do you, though? You let them be part of society? You don't want them living next to you, teaching your children. You don't want them in the places you are living in. You don't want to hire them, and if you do, you want to know. Write it on this form if you have ever been in jail. If they have done their time and paid their dues, why should they? It is because you want to keep an eye, because you don't fully trust. So where is the rehabilitation? If you know in your heart of heart that love is what heals people, caring, maybe you would have them work on the farms, growing their own food with lots of dogs around and horses.
Yeah.
You can still have guards and keep them in line if you need to, but you could do something so that they transform. You could lead them with shamans and plant medicine ceremonies. You have them in Brazil doing the ayahuasca, the prisoners. The tribes have a wisdom. This knowledge has been passed down to help you free and heal your soul. And so what is the focus here in this ascension? We say to people, if you don't know how to do the ascension, just start to serve, start to help, offer your help. That way you don't have to be sitting on a mountaintop or somewhere in your mind on a mountaintop in your own apartment, afraid to go out there and afraid to go in here. Afraid to go out there, afraid to go in here. Not believing in up there, but living in a hell here. Not sure, somebody has to prove it to you. That is what happens to people. I need the proof. Oh, when you have your proof, if you have that much time, why not the proof that you can make love as your God? That love itself, the feeling of that, can rule you. That means it informs you on every level of consciousness, your subconscious, your higher conscious, your earthly consciousness.
You get past the addiction. There's a description of shamanism that old school, that a shaman must be destroyed or broken down or really ripped apart before they are transformed. And it seems that humanity is living that misbelief that we must be torn apart first. How do we get past that addiction to misery and suffering and simply say, I will choose?
Then you must become very sensitive and realize that your sensitivity is actually your strength and not your weakness. The people that all of you admire the most right now, think of them, the artists, the thinkers, the people in your family, your friends maybe, whoever it is, the people you regard as great. They are great because of their sensitivity and that they have made it their superpower. The greatest painters in the world were the most sensitive to what they were transmitting through the colors on the canvas. The greatest singers, sensitive to the nature and the style, the genre, and the message of the music. Whether it is a message you agree with or not, makes no difference. It is the authenticity of the purity of that frequency transmission. And that is through sensitivity. A sensitive chef is a true chef. A sensitive teacher, and yet you have been dragged through the mud with two words that you don't trust. One is sensitive and surrender.
Mm-hmm.
You have been taught that surrender means you lost. That team surrendered. The army surrendered. The other fighter surrendered. Oh, yeah? Well, if you plan to be in a partnership, you better surrender to love.
Amen.
Mm-hmm. Surrender to the dance if you want to dance. A person who is surrendered to dancing in the salsa dance can be seen as a much more fun dancer to watch than a person who has learned all the steps but does not have the flow. One person does not know all the steps doing salsa, but they are in the rhythm and flow. You can see the soulfulness, the cultural essence in them. Another person learned by the book, this is how you salsa, do all the steps, but you don't want to watch them. Your favorite singers and artists are not the ones who can hit all the notes. Many of the ones you like the most are not about that kind of gymnastic singing. It is about the tone. It is about the soul that you feel that communicates on the frequency that you are needing. Not only that matches the frequency inside of you because you only like what you are like. It also propels you forward to the next level of what you can be. And that's why the arts are so important to the education of your children and your adults. It is so strange if an adult tells you maybe they're working in a bank and somebody says, "What are you doing tonight?" "I'm going for my singing lessons, and tomorrow my painting lessons and my dancing lessons after that." That would be strange. But as a child, you did these things naturally. And that is why children are irresistible. Children, plants, and animals have something in common that makes all three of these things irresistible. Nature is irresistible to all human beings. Babies are irresistible to all human beings, and your pets are irresistible to the human people. They all are fully expressed and surrendered to what they are. They are layered, but they are not so layered that they are complicated. They may be complex in their own way, but they are not complicated. If you are with a person who is complex, it is interesting, intriguing, more to discover. But if you are with a person who is complicated, it is like wires have crossed and the circuits are overloading and it's going to spark. You don't want to put your hand in there. What we are transmitting to you through the channel is a simplicity and a sobriety of being that is actually very, very, you might say, airy and celestial too in its groundedness, because that is what you are. And so we are speaking to that which you are. Elementally, you are that. You are airy, you are grounded, you are fiery, you are watery, you are cosmic. And so to be a fully expressed being, and remember, that is where you find your most happiness. You say, where will I be the most fulfilled? You mean the most fully expressed? Well, you can do it now. You can fully express yourself while you are sweeping the kitchen. It is a master who understands that they choose how they feel. That is what self-mastery is. It is not mastering a task. That is a taskmaster. It is not a mastery of self. Mastery of self is that you can go from feeling bad at any given moment to feeling good without doing anything, getting up from where you are, and without the environment or anybody else's behavior changing. That would be freedom, and that would be self-mastery. And if you want a hint as how to do that, your power is gratitude. It is the key back to your sanity. But you must know how to use it. You must know its power. You have to even be grateful for gratitude. You must have gratitude to even begin to feel gratitude. Then you will feel even more gratitude. The greatest gratitude that you will feel is the gift of having gratitude for gratitude, because gratitude is so freeing, so empowering, so peace-giving, so life-affirming, and so surrendered that finally you are in the now. Finally you will be in the now.
What if someone's struggling so badly they feel there's nothing to be grateful for?
Yeah, but that's because you have to go very tiny. Mentally, you can say right now, well, I'm grateful that I have a roof over my head watching podcast. I'm grateful that I have a car outside or whatever, clothes in the closet, food in the refrigerator. But it is not a kind of visceral feeling. You understand?
Yes.
You know what is visceral gratitude? If you're walking across the street and somebody grab you by the collar, pull you back, and the car practically runs over your feet because you're about to be hit. You will be panting, sitting on the sidewalk, overwhelmed with shock and also with gratitude. That is a visceral gratitude. Not a conceptual, cerebral, mental gratitude. Everybody, you stop anybody in the street right now, you say, what are you grateful for? They will say it right then and there. Oh, I'm grateful for where I'm going right now. I'm grateful for I like the sneakers. I'm grateful that the sun is out or the sun is not out. They will find something to tell you. But it does not have vitality. It does not have firepower.
Mm-hmm.
Your gratitude has to have a kind of a burning, warm firepower that is always there. because your gratitude has nothing to do with what could be, though that could be too. It is very present. Gratitude can always bring you to the present. You say, how can I be grateful? I'm sitting in this hospital and my loved one is sitting in there dying. What do I have to be grateful for? That they are not dead? They're hooked up to machines. What do I have to be grateful for? Well, you could be grateful for the machines. Or you could go very cosmic in your perspective and say, this does not feel good, but I am grateful because I know that at all times, what must happen here is happening for everybody involved. And for that concept, I am grateful. And through that gratefulness, I can start to go into this situation and find a deeper magic. Because all of you have experienced great pain in your lives and traumas, terrible things that later on you found what it did for you, and you found the magic later. But when you start to find the magic more in the present, it will help you to navigate better rather than from fear or freaking out about something. You begin to understand, why did I create this for myself now? Not why did the universe do this to me? Why don't you replace the words the universe with my future self? Say, why did my future self create this for me now? There you will find a potent bridge glowing with light to this destination of gratitude. Why did my future self create this for me now? Not why did my future self do this to me now? Create this for me now. And that is what you can live with every second of the day while you are creating. And you must create, brother, because if you're not creating, that is when you feel dead. Now, what do you mean create? I have to draw a picture? No, what we mean is that when you are not consciously creating. Well, what does that mean? I want to get that thing, so I'm consciously building something to get there. That is a kind of creation. What we are talking about is an inner technology of creation, meaning the vibration, the creation of a higher vibration within yourself. And these are the tools. Gratitude is the tool, but not the kind of gratitude that you have been practicing. Too light. It is too airy. It has to have the warm, deep firepower. You don't eat a meal that is on the stove. It is too cold. You have to heat it up, don't you? You don't like to eat the cold dish that is meant to be hot. And you don't like to eat the hot dish that is meant to be cold. So you will activate it in some way. You will either put it in the fridge to be colder, or you will put it on the stove to be warmer. So we're saying your gratitude needs to be heated up. So it gives you some energy and grounding. And you can feel solid in it.
Is
so
it
you don't
practice?
freak out at everything. It will become second nature to you. In the beginning, you will have to remind yourself of this. And after practice, it will become your nature. And that is what a shaman is. The shaman, he walk or she walk or they walk into the experience. And very quickly they process and understand. They understand why these people created it. They understand, even the shaman understands why the shaman is meant to be there and why they also co-created it. Bless you.
How do we surrender into the outer reality so that it does not become our true reality?
First, you would have to not make this thing that you call outer reality. There is a disconnect. If you still are believing there is an outer reality, it means you're not finding the divine. For some people, if the candidate of the presidency that they are rooting for does not win, they will not believe in the divine so much. If that candidate wins, they will say, oh, it is the divine will. You are still ping-ponging between ideas of right and wrong, good and bad, noble and evil. Your biggest awakening will be when you realize there is no inside or outside. There is only all that is. All that is. Some people call that phrase God, all that is. You know the word alone, it used to be two words, all one. Now, if you have two people sitting somewhere on a tree stump, and you walk over to one of them and say, hey, how are you? And they look up at you, they say, I am alone. And you walk up to the other one, how are you? I am all one. You will feel a profound difference. The same letters, spoken differently, carry a completely different vibration. That means that your translation, definition, inner language is not even inner language. It is outer language. We can all see your inner language, so it is not inner anymore. It is outer. You cannot hide a yawn, can you? We know you're yawning. Cover your mouth, squeeze your lips together. The yawn is very clear. The biggest illusion is that there is an inner and an outer. You tend to work with these delineations, but they cannot work for you for ultimate freedom. They can only work as a stepping stone for you to reach the point where you say, if it is all God, then it is all God. Why am I inside of anything? Inner world? You mean the world you're keeping secret? If it is so magical in there, why don't you bring it out here where we need it? I have tried. They don't see me. You mean you're doing it so that they see you? Do you see God? Then you will see yourself. You don't need them to see you. Maybe you did not come here to get love. Maybe you just came to give it. It is a possibility. Since you believe in all possibilities, why don't you consider that possibility? But a lot of people want to push away their deeper healing. They don't want to do the deeper, harder work. That is fine. It will come eventually. They want to do the happy old things. They just want to sit and meditate, have a little bit of energy healing. They want to feel that they are reset. You cannot reset yourself unless you change your beliefs. About the past, present, and future, there is no resetting. You have to change your core beliefs. A powerful teacher is one that not only intrigues you and empowers you, but also unnerves you a little bit. Has to. Otherwise, you are too comfortable. And you cannot grow clearly in this so-called outer world without a certain amount of uncomfortability. Even when you go to exercise, as you guys were talking earlier, it is not a party there, though you may be happy to be there. The body is being worked. Muscles torn, tendons and ligaments strained in order to grow. Yoga is the same thing. You do yoga asana, you stretch your arm out. It is to the point of a little bit of discomfort. And there you must stop and breathe. You agree?
Absolutely.
You don't do it where it is just comfortable. You're not going to get the benefits. So a certain amount of uncomfortability, as you make peace with it. We're not talking about pain. We're not talking about debilitating kind of masochistic behavior that is just simply thrill-seeking, or that you're so numb you can't feel anything, so you have to do all sorts of very harsh things to yourself. So even when you do the shamanic plant medicine ceremonies, whether it is the ayahuasca or the sacred mushroom or any of these plant medicines that are from your ancestors to help you be more free now, you have people say, I don't want to do that, but I will drink the carrot juice. So you believe God's carrots are different than God's other plant for you. Oh, but the carrot juice does not alter me. Then don't do it. Only do things that expand you and alter your way of thinking. To expand you. Expanding means it has altered you. You are not the same person that you were when you were 5, and yet you are. But you are not. Every cell in your body has died so many times in this lifetime already, and You have had new cells. You are made of different cells now than you were even a little while ago, a year or two ago. The liver that you have right now is not the liver you were born with. Every cell of your body in your liver has died and regenerated. You have a new liver right now. So
Is
why
that
it
what's
not
going
working?
on for humanity?
You got it, brother. You got it. It does not mean that you just put your hands up and say, well, then if it is the way it is, Red Eagle's saying just leave it alone. We have never said to leave it alone. You don't leave a canvas alone, but you trust the painting and don't beat yourself up over if the way that you paint the tree is not as realistic as the person next to you. You work with the canvas. You work with the ingredients. You cook and you go and you taste and you adjust. That is creation.
How important is it to hear from spirit as we're in this creative process?
Spirit is an eternal conversation. It is whether you decide to quiet down to hear the subtle frequencies that are flowing around you. Your television sets that you grew up with had antenna on top of it. Without that antenna, you were not able to hear all the television and radio frequencies that were flying through your house at all times, were they not? Of course they were. The radio and TV stations were broadcasting them. And if you have that antenna, you reach up into the environment, and that antenna is made of certain materials that can receive that frequency. You don't want to hear them, push the antenna down. Just live survivalist. But the moment you feel that something is off, you're going to seek an answer. And that is the beauty of what you are. You're seekers and finders, and seekers and finders. Thinkers and doers and beers and seers and creators. You're all of that. It is not so hard to live in peace once you know that there is enough room for everybody. And it will happen. You will watch from the dimension that you're in. Yeah, of course it will. But do not make this wrong. Do not think that you're just sitting back. What you do is part of that creation, but you cannot fuel yourself from anger or pain. It is not a good fuel source.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Are there any words that you would share specifically for my family or myself?
We're leaving his body, but you ask us other question, we come back for you. Sure.
Thank you.
You know, putting your hands in the earth, Michael, to grow your own food. Want to talk about it?
Sure. Thank you.
It is a part of your ability, you specifically, Michael, to, as you know, how to ground yourself, take your shoes off, walk barefoot. You do it?
We wrote books on it. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Good for you. It is your guides. We don't know you. What your guides tell to us, we tell to you. They say this grounding is very good for you specifically. And it is because you actually make the connection when you do it. You're not just going through the motions. And when you are plucking the lettuce out of the ground, you really get something from it. You feel it. You smell it. What is very important for you to remember, Michael, is that you never let the 12-year-old Michael go. His magic is now time to be seen. It was not going to be honored in the years past. They might have said, you didn't grow up there. And you kept 12-year-old Michael very well protected. You did not give up on him. But they were not ready to see him. And what has happened through alchemy and your experiences is that you have integrated 12-year-old Michael into the man known as Michael. And that is what has made you rounded, well-rounded. And cannot be avoided that the joys of parenthood are yours to have. And that you can give through parenthood what you perhaps did not get. And that is the secret to your life, Michael. The healing and the healer's path is to give what they did not get and also to give the best of what they did get. as you are dedicating yourself to that, know that your guides also make a funny joke about you. This, you have any coral in your house? You know what is coral?
Yeah, sharp.
Yeah, it is the kind of they live under the water. Yeah, you have any in your house?
We did in the last house. I'm not sure if we still do,
It
but
is a
we live
magic
close
totem
enough
for
I
you.
can get it.
Yeah, it is a magic totem for you. Keep it in the house.
Okay.
Every house you go, put a piece
Okay.
by front door and put a piece
Okay.
in bedroom. It represents the fluidity of the ocean of cosmic awareness. And it has a lot of magic in it for you. It is a good power object for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Little message for you. Also, want to say this to you. Your work is meant to be play, not work. And it is what you are bringing inside of yourself and the magic of that 12-year-old little wizard there that you were and that lives inside of you now. It is actually your key as to what will make you and keep you different. Trust it more and more as you are. Bless you. Be well.
Thank you.
Hi.
How was your ride?
Sometimes it's like a nap and sometimes it's like a ride. Thank you. That was more like a nap. He really, sometimes he really takes over. Let's all take a breath because that was a lot of big download, guys. Red Eagle is this really massive, in my opinion, most massive supreme activator. He just like looks right into your soul. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's like this loving, activating fierceness of immense power and also grace and gentleness that exists in this particular guide that for me has changed my life. And I know there's some over the years has changed a lot of people's lives. I find that the phenomenon known as spirit guides is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
There's no doubting and no arguing their clarity when they're clear, right? You can see that there's a huge emotional intent, and they have their own personalities, which is I find really. And maybe one day I'll bring Phineas through, and we'll do a part 2. And Phineas is like the scholar spirit guide. But I just want to thank you for having me, and to all your listeners for lending their time to us.
Thank you. Before we find out where to go for, actually, let's go there first, then we'll get final words. Where can people go to find all your work, Riz?
Just come to my Instagram, which is Psychic Riz the Wiz. It'll be a blue check mark, so you'll see it's me. And my YouTube channel is The Magical Life. And my wife, Araya, my wife is an intuitive empath, and we do a show together. We do a lot of shows together, which are diving into channeling, also personal evolution, and we also do a fun series in the paranormal world where we do a paranormal reaction video series that we dive into understanding the spirit world. And it's super fun, and we have a great community. And thank you. I'm always here. I do phone readings, psychic readings. I also do private channelings, and I lead sacred earth retreats all over the world. We have this year coming up in Egypt. I take people to uncover the ancient knowledge of the pyramids. Been doing that for many years. Also take them to Sedona, Mount Shasta, sacred energy vortex sites, Joshua Tree. My new book is called The Echelon Speaks, where I channel an interdimensional extraterrestrial race of highly evolved beings of consciousness. And you can get that on Amazon, The Echelon Speak.
Very, very cool. And having lived just outside of Joshua Tree, I know the energy of which you speak.
Well, we got to talk about that, brother. I'm so glad to meet you and connect.
It goes both ways. Any last words you want to share with anyone on anything?
I do. I want to say we have to remember older people find the magic and the wisdom of younger people, and younger people, please find the magic and the wisdom of older people. Let's meet there.
Woohoo!
Thank you.
So thank you. So for everyone out there, this is Michael Sandler saying, be well, have fun. Oh, play with this inner richness and gratitude above all else today. And above all else, shine bright. Woohoo! Wow, wow, wow. What another special, grounding, important, beautiful, beautiful show on taking the journey. Red Eagle would say there is no inside or outside. What a beautiful interview on taking the human experience journey. On that note, if you want to bring your energy up, 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 and way up, go to that link down below. Go to dailywoohoo.com where I do just that. I send you a daily attunement, a daily message to bring your energy up, typically in story form that comes out of my automatic writing at dailywoohoo.com. Of course, if you want to learn how to channel and become a medium yourself, simply go to automaticwriting.com. I have live classes, video-based program, books, all to help you to be able to connect with the other side. And if you want to get together with like-minded individuals, if you want to take that extra heightened sensitivity that you have and turn it into the super skill that it was always meant to be, then come join the School of Mystics. Join us 4 Wednesdays each month, virtually via Zoom or via recording, your choice, plus clearings, guided meditations, so much beautiful group work to raise your vibration up, and weekly attunements. Simply go to that link down below for School of Mystics. Here's a link, doing this with Sir Meowsers. Here's a link to the next amazing shows you want to point. Here's a link to the next amazing show. I love you, Sir Meowsers. I don't think we've ever done this before. And above and beyond all else, shine bright. Woohoo! How does it get any better than this? How? Oh, I know. I got you. How does it get any better than this? Love you so, so much. Woo!